Hey, it's Dennis from Initial Ascent, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to bring on my 2020 spring bear hunt. So the pack that I'm going to have is the IA2K Pack, and I'm actually going to use the lid with this pack. It wasn't really designed to go with the lid, but we've had some guys doing that, and so we created some lid straps. And it just provides an extra 650 cubic inches to the already 2,400 cubic inches that you have in the 2K. So pretty cool way to go if you want to stay light and fast. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to loosen all the straps, just make sure everything is loose so I can get all the stuff in there. It's got a U-shaped zipper, and we'll just open it all up, get good access to the inside. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pack light stuff toward the bottom. I want all my heavy stuff up toward the top and toward, I guess, the middle and the top, but closest to my back there. So that's going to be most likely my food is going to be up there in that heavier spot. So I'm going to take first and foremost my Enlightened Equipment quilt. It's a 25-degree quilt. I've actually got it in a Sea to Summit waterproof bag. We typically get a little bit of rain, a little bit of wet weather this time of year out in the bare woods. So I am going to protect my sleeping bag with that. It goes all the way to the bottom, and in this 2K, the way this quilt is elongated, it just fits great right down there in the bottom. So that goes there first. The next thing I'm going to do is take I've got a Sea to Summit inflatable pillow, and I'm going to fill any air pockets, maybe a corner or something that the sleeping bag doesn't take up. My sleeping pad is a Big Agnes axle air insulated pad, and it's a 20 by 72. So I use that with the quilt, and for my sleep system this time of year, that works really, really well. So I'm going to put that in there. The next thing I'm going to do is take my shelter, and I'm going to put that long ways or sideways in there right above the sleeping bag. So I've still got some room up here on top, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that. So the kill kit. This kill kit has my game bags, has my knife, it has a plastic garbage bag, it's got some paracord, gloves, everything that I need to process the bear if I'm fortunate enough to get one down. So I'll take and put my kill kit in there just like so. Clothes. Let's see. Oh, I did forget the jet boil. I'm going to take the jet boil and put it right here on the side. It'll be just on top of the sleeping pad there. Almost forgot about that. So that's a little bit heavier item itself because I do have the fuel in there. So I'm going to stick that right there on top. Now clothes, I'm going to wear in most of what I'm going to bring for clothing. So I'll have my pants, my gaiters, a fresh pair of socks, my boots, an insulated base layer on top. I won't wear an insulated layer on the bottom, but I will have a hoodie that's a little thicker insulated layer as well on top. And then I'm going to bring 2 pairs of socks. So I'll be going for 5 days, so 4 nights, 5 days, and I'll bring two pair of socks. So I'll have 3 pairs of socks total and I can just switch those socks every day, let the pair that I've been wearing that day dry out that night, stick on a fresh pair while I'm sleeping. I'll have one pair of wear, and these are the First Light. They're merino wool, so I can get by 5 days with 2 pairs of those wear. So some guys may want to do more than that, but I get along just fine with that. And then I'll bring an extra shirt. So I'm just stuffing these items just kind of right on top and in those gaps. So now I can actually start to zip this thing up a little bit, so nothing squeaks out the side. Just like that. Got the jet boil there. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is take my food. I've got 5 days worth of food right here, and I'm going to stick that in there. So that's the heaviest item that I've got in my pack currently. So I'm just going to stuff that in there. That sits real nice, and I've got one little gap up toward the top. I like to bring a sleeping or a sitting pad, and this is the Thermarest Z seat. So really comfortable. When I'm glassing, I can keep my butt dry, and it's got nice cushion if I'm sitting around at camp. I won't hurt my back that way. So I'm going to stick that right in the top, and that fits perfectly there. Okay, now I've got a couple of inside expandable pockets here, so I'm going to put a couple things in there. One, I'm going to take my ammunition and put it right here. Now I will have, that's just the extra ammunition. I will have the rifle loaded on the way in, not one in the chamber, but I will have one, the rifle loaded. So that's just my extra ammunition. This top one, I'm going to take and I'm going to put my Garmin InReach Mini, because I want to be able to get to it quickly. So I'll put it in this top expandable pocket. Another thing I want to get to quickly will be my TP and my wet wipes. You just never know. Zip that up. And then I've got it inside this IA2K pack. I've got a little hook, and I always want to know where my headlamp is. So I'm going to take and I'm going to hook the headlamp right in there. Okay, so now I'm ready to close up the main portion of the bag. Okay, now for my lid, what's going to go in my lid? So I have my first aid kit. I've got electrolytes in here. I've got extra batteries. I've got foot care, so blister care type stuff. I also have about 50 feet of rapid rope in here as well. So I'll put that in my lid so I can get to that quickly if I need to. Another thing that I'm going to put in my lid, my fire starting kit. So this fire starting kit has a couple of different ways to start fire as far as tinder, and then I've got a couple of ways to actually ignite a flame. So I've got one of the Pyro Putty lighters, and then I've got some backup waterproof matches as well. So fire starting, you always want to have backup. So, and then I do have a small lightweight Leatherman in there for just odds and ends. It also has an extra knife, so that'll go in there. And then my water purification, I've got a SteriPen, and I've also got my Hydro Pack 3-liter collapsible bladder there. So I'll keep those guys together, and I'll know where that's at. I've got a pair of gloves and my beanie. That will go in the lid as well, so I can access it quickly. And then I also carry a Soul emergency bivvy. It's really small, really light. If the nights get kind of cold with my quilt, I'll actually take this out and use it as an extra layer just to stay warm. But this is just an emergency bivvy. It always stays on my lid, so in case I don't have my full pack, I'm ready, you know, for emergency type situations. Okay, the last thing I'm going to put this is kind of a creature comfort for me. It's an expandable light. It's actually inflatable, and it's a solar powered light. And what I'll do is I'll actually carry it on the bag during the day, and I'll gather light that way, gather some solar energy, and I can use this in my shelter at night versus my headlamp. So that's a nice little item for me. I'll also keep that in the lid. Okay, rangefinder. I use the G7BR2 rangefinder from Gunworks, and I like to put that in my hip belt pouch. In the initial scent hip belt pouch, it fits perfectly in there. I'll also take and put a couple snacks in there for the day, so I can get at them pretty easily. May throw some chapstick in there as well for my first aid kit, just so I'll have it during the day. Okay, rain gear. I do not usually carry rain pants. So I've got my really light rain jacket from First Light. So I'll stuff that in there. If this expandable pocket on the bottom here actually has a grommet, it's a drain grommet. So if I put my rain jacket in there after it rains, it's wet or whatever, any excess water can drain out the bottom. So kind of a neat feature there. Last, I've got my insulation layer. This is insulation layer from Screed, and it's their 850 down coat. Really warm, really packable, really light. So I'll put that in that top pocket. Again, that's expandable. And last thing we have is my tripod. I do not carry a spotting scope typically when I'm bear hunting, so I'll just put my spotting or my tripod in there for my binos, because I do like to glass using the tripod. All right, let's see, tighten that down. Got everything inside, so I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these compression straps down. Do that same thing on the other side here. Buckle these compression straps. Typically I'm taking trekking poles, but on my way in I'll actually use those. But if I don't, I've got another side pocket over here that I can button these compressions or the trekking poles down. So I'll get this lid on and then show you guys kind of what it looks like. So that is my pack for my 2020 bear hunt. Oh, also I do use a GSI water bottle. It's the Micro Light water bottle. It's insulated. That thing is awesome. So that is my pack for my 2020 spring bear hunt.